So the brief, I mean, it's at its core was a relatively simple brief. There was a clear product proposition. It's a whiskey that's been aged for 21 years and uniquely finished in Caribbean rum casks. What we needed to do and what excited us about that was the opportunities within the way that Glenfiddich likes us to work and the way that we as an agency like to work, which is to kind of challenge ourselves to do things different, but it's not different for different sake. It's because it's getting standout on the internet in this day and age is not easy. There's a lot out there that people would rather be watching. So the challenge was not specifically with the brief itself, particularly with the clear proposition of raised in Scotland and roused by the Caribbean. The challenge was kind of just connecting with an audience who frankly don't care these days, even with a kind of a passion brand such as a single malt whiskey.
So from Gravity we wanted something that told the product story, so about the product being raised in Scotland and roused by the Caribbean. But we wanted this to be done in an interesting way that didn't feel like traditional advertising, that consumers would want to enjoy watching and also share with their friends.
You don't really want to start explaining yourselves because audiences kind of don't care. We could have gone down a very literal route of showing the Caribbean and showing Scotland and showing the process. People don't want to watch that kind of stuff. So the good thing about cymatics is it's kind of very visually interesting. It's not really something that's kind of out there in the world so much. There are a few films certainly that people do in this, but not in the way we did it. We always felt that actually whiskey visually was going to look very, very interesting.
We chose to lead with digital video content. Traditionally we've done much more print advertising, but it's much easier to convey genuine emotion and to engage our consumers. Also, for those people who enjoy Glenfiddich 21-year-old, many of them are constantly on the move. Mobile marketing and use of digital technology is inherent within their lives. So going with a digitally led campaign in this case made real sense.
It's funny, in many ways we've come full circle as an industry. We've kind of gone back to big hero pieces of content, and actually certainly a lot of the processes in this were that of which in the past I have used on TV commercials. I think the mistake is to think that we have gone back to being able to make traditional TV ads and put them up online, because it doesn't work.
So Glenfiddich is a global brand. We sell our whiskey in over 180 countries. Glenfiddich 21-year-old specifically is sold in America, China and many of the emerging markets around the world. So we wanted to use and create film content that would appeal across cultures. The use of music in particular kind of crosses the boundaries, and we think a lot of the emotion comes through this film through the careful use and selection of great music.
We make sure that everything that we do has a kind of an emotional centre to it. It's really, really important that the work that we do doesn't leave people cold. And I think, again, that's where you kind of see the stuff that doesn't quite land in social media advertising is the stuff that perhaps speaks a little bit too much to the head and not enough to the heart. So with this, yes, there are kind of KPIs, there are metrics and there are things we need to communicate, but then the actually interesting thing, which is certainly very interesting for me as the kind of the creative director, is that kind of the intangibility, almost the immeasurable bit, which is the kind of the emotional centre of it. And the only way I can describe, the only metric I can say is when you watch something, does it leave you cold? Or do you get that kind of neck-tingling moment? Do you connect with it in a way? So when we went into this, we knew that doing a music video was really important, but that also informs the edit, because I think a lot of advertising kind of stops once it's hit the key communication and you kind of package it up and you go, right, it communicates something. We try to go a little bit further than that to kind of say, yes, it communicates something, but do people care? Are people going to watch it? Are people going to share it? And the only way that that happens is if you actually feel something when you watch it. And we do genuinely ask, what do we want people to feel? Do we want them to feel happy or excited? You know, maybe they feel a little bit kind of scared or a little bit kind of worried, or, you know, depending on the kind of the product. In this instance, we wanted people to feel kind of thrilled and excited and just enjoy it like you'd watch any other piece of internet content. And that, I think, is the key multiplier which is going to make this film the success that we hope it will be.